Hey, what's up everybody? Jeff C here, back with another book review, and we were able to sneak another book in before the end of October, before the end of spooky season. And since we went ahead and read The Stand by Stephen the King for the majority of October, I was able to sneak in another book. And this time I went with Stephen King's son, Joe Hill. And the book we are reading, or that we just finished, is Heart-Shaped Box, his first novel. Not his first publication. He did release a short story collection prior to this. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about Heart-Shaped Box today. First, I want to say that I personally am not typically into ghost stuff. I don't really believe in ghosts per se. I don't think that you can go and actually be affected by a ghost in a mansion or anything like that. I mean, it's fun, but I know some people who really take it seriously. I kind of have a stupid little saying that I say, like when somebody says, "Oh, this is the most haunted place in the city," I always, like a dork, say, "Well, anything times 0 is still 0." So anyway, I don't know. It's whatever you like. If you're into ghosts, cool. Be into ghosts. It's all good. So in Heart-Shaped Box, we have an aging rock star named Jude who collects, odd trinkets. I remember he has like a snuff film, and he has some other stuff. I can't name the list off the top of my head, but he gets an email, or his assistant gets an email one day saying, "Hey, I'm selling my stepfather's ghost." And so they acquire the ghost, and yeah, it gets pretty crazy. There's I don't want to give away too much, but there's some underlying history between Jude and the person that was selling the ghost. And so it was kind of a setup. One thing for me, when the ghost first makes an appearance, I got goosebumps like really quick. I was like, oh my God, the way it happened. It wasn't like super violent or anything. It was just like, again, I don't want to say too much, but if you've read this book, like the first time I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I would have shit myself. And so one thing I was worried about is, that was early in the book, and I was like, okay, I've always kind of leery about repetitive, like if your antagonist keeps facing the same kind of problem over and over in a movie or in a story. After a while, I get like where I'm like, okay, how many times is this person gonna deal with this thing, and it's just the same shit over and over. It's kind of like that was my biggest gripe with I watched The Walking Dead when it was first on TV, and I watched the first few seasons, and then after a while, I was just like, okay, how many times we're either fighting zombies or we're fighting each other, and then for me, I lose interest, and so. Anytime that type of situation seems like it's going to happen, I get kind of worried. However, I will say that Joe Hill, I think in this book, he pulled me to the absolute limit of my patience with that, and then it changed. And all of a sudden we're on kind of like a road trip, and it got really exciting, and so it kept my interest the whole of the story. And so I was very thankful that it wasn't just going to be like a long story of one battle after another, and just in my head I'm like reading it. It's not a big book, and I was just like, we're only this far into it, and we're already having to deal with a guy. Like, how are we just going to keep dealing with it? So yeah, it flips, and it was nice. Did you see that little dude just run down? Hill does a good job. We're blending like some horror. There's like some good rock and roll vibe. There's like an emotional weight, especially on the on Jude. Dealing with some things. he you know, he has like a love interest that gets sent off and some stuff happens, and I know that that can really, you know, again, weigh heavy on him, and I feel like by the end of the book he kind of resolves that really well, and so I liked that aspect. This book does kind of read like, I mean, this would be a good movie. It does have a cinematic feel, and there is like some tragedy in there. There's some, there's like a good redemption, like I just said, especially on, I feel, on Jude. And so, yeah, I think this would actually, maybe it is a movie. It might actually be. I'd have to look. I would also say that the ghost element does hit pretty hard. I like the way that the ghost is able to communicate in various situations throughout the novel. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The the way that they're able to, there is kind of a little bit of a bridge that they're able to kind of deal with him kind of physically, supernaturally, I guess, physically, but that part is really cool. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. And so, yeah, overall, I liked this book. I want to read more Joe Hill. I know right now everybody's reading King Sorrow that just came out. If you don't know what that is, I'll put a picture of it right here. And so that's kind of what's, you know, in November of 2025, that's what everybody's reading right now. And so I'll get there. You know, that's a big book. I think it's like 900 and something pages. And I've just you know, between reading the Live Ship Trader trilogy in August and then reading The Stand this month, Live Ship Traders in September, I'm just kind of big booked out right now, you know. So I'm currently reading a little short story collection, and I'll be hopefully talking about that pretty soon. But yeah, so that was just a short video to talk about Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. Have you read it? What do you think about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please leave a comment. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you have not already. I'd love to also interact with you on Goodreads or Fable. If you're on those apps, please follow me there. The same name, Jeff C., based in books. And yeah, that's it. Joe Hill, Heart-Shaped Box, good book. Good album also by Nirvana. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got for you today. So, peace. This fool really eating on top of me and just knocking shit all over. Look at that. Boy got a pair on him.